to our final conversation. The dust is yet to settle over concerns raised by various groups regarding the newly signed Electoral Act. This time, the Inter-Party Advisory Council IPAC has threatened to boycott the 2027 general election if the National Assembly fails to amend certain provisions of the Electoral Act 2026. The joint body says the outcome of the elections would be rejected as illegitimate and would not be recognized by the parties under its umbrella. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Grand Alliance APGA has openly declared its intention to adopt President Bola Tinubu as its candidate in the 2027 presidential elections. Kayode, why is IPAC, threatening to boycott, and how valid are the concerns raised?
If you allow me to speak,
please do.
I'm trying to wear the garb of a politician, because if I speak as a journalist, I'll be laughing at this story. You understand? But if you allow me to speak as a politician, which I think IPAC is doing, is to say that you must be heard.
Okay.
The ruling party must know that they are not going to have an easy ride in 2027. What do you do to a man who has 30 governors in his party?
Okay.
The 31st governor who has refused to leave APGA has now endorsed him as a presidential candidate.
By proxy, 31 by proxy.
31. And there are also gist that something might also happen in Habia. So you expect opposition not to make some noise. You understand?
Okay.
So as a politician, what IPAC is doing is not out of place. As a politician, they are still going to make more noises.
Okay.
You will hear things from ADC saying that this election is going to be the president versus Nigerians. And you are asking, the people that these governors are governing, are they also not Nigerians? The people who are making this decision, or the over 10 million or thereabout who are registered with APC, are they not Nigerian? So this is pure politics.
Okay.
And for me, as journalists, you will definitely hunt for this kind of story. But trust me, if they do not participate in the election, it makes it more dramatic. So this is purely, quote me, an empty threat.
An empty threat?
Very, very empty. The only important thing is put your house in order.
You don't think it will undermine the credibility of the election?
Credibility in what sense? That you don't have enough members in the National Assembly? That you don't have people to lobby your positions?
Okay.
That even the few ones you have were busy, pursuing the upload of result electronically on the IREV as mandatory, and not looking at the nomination, looking at the register, looking at things that are very germane, and this thing is time bound. Trust me, this is the implication of not. You see, sorry, I have to remind you, there were some presidential candidates who did not even support their governorship candidates in their states. They just want to become presidents. You did not plan how you will get senators. You did not plan how you will get House of Reps members. Maybe I should remind you, someone like Peter Obi, he went to Rivers State and was singing the praises of PDP, Fubara, and Wike, forgetting that if you have governors in Labour Party, if you have governors in Senate, if you have governors in House of Reps, probably they will not be crying today. That is the meaning of being a party man. You need to build a team. You need to allow people to also win election. But if it is all about you and you alone, this is the implication.
So those complaining,
it's immaterial. You cannot hoodwink, you cannot blackmail the National Assembly from going against what they've done. That's the fact.
I mean, but with a boycott by IPAC, would they significantly undermine the credibility or legitimacy of Nigeria's electoral process?
Would also allow me to take the garment of journalism out of me. So I can also talk like a politician in training.
In training, you have always been a
No, I'm still in training.
Looking forward to
exactly. So the thing is, first, let's just say this: in a polity, particularly when you have politicians and all that, you always have the contenders and the pretenders.
Okay.
So I personally would say that IPAC I'm not demeaning them. I think they're just pretenders, honestly. If you are, it's just like we're going to the World Cup, for instance. Super Eagles say they're going to boycott it, which means they are not ready for that tournament. That's what it means. So it does seem to me that IPAC may not be ready for this election. That's what it means, because the only thing to do is to look for where a baby. They say a witch cried last night and the baby died this morning, and then you're looking for who actually keep him. So, but having said, I think on the flip side, they ruled out about 6 reasons. I do agree with them on 2 of them. I may not be able to have all this, but I have 3 of them here. One of them is the restoration of indirect primaries. Okay, that political parties should retain the constitutional right to determine the modus operandi of how people elect who are going to be elected to emerge. And I agree with them. I don't think that the National Assembly should have even entertained it at all. Allow parties, individual parties, to determine the modus operandi of how
Why didn't they debate it?
Say what?
Why didn't the opposition debate it?
No.
But
you know what I'm saying? I'm getting my time now.
We talked about it last week Friday.
Yes.
So on that, I think the National Assembly should not have even entertained that at all. Allow parties, whether they're going to be doing indirect or direct or whatever mode of, allow them. So when they amend, then they go to the open field to go contest over there. I agree with them on that. The other one, as I said, I had 3. He said the removal of a requirement for political parties members to possess and upload their NIN. Well, and he also saying that in some very far-flung rural areas, they don't have NIN. So if they want to enlist as members of a political party and don't have NIN, which means you have disenfranchised them. So I think they ought to have also let that go. I agree with them on that. The other one is restoration of mandatory electronic transfer of election result after the announcement. Well, that's what the section 6 says.
Yes.
So I don't think there's any problem with that one. So out of the 6, the 3 I picked out, these 2 I agree with them on that. That the National Assembly shouldn't have even entertained that at all. Allow them, whatever modus operandi they feel is best for them, they should go over there. But having said that, even if the IPAC said they are going to be boycott election, it will not invalidate whatever the outcome of the election will be. For me, let them throw their hearts in the ring, go over there gallantly. Even if they don't win, let them go over there to see. But I think right now, all the parties are doing registration. Why don't you do marketing? Tell me what are bringing to the table that is different from what PDP is going to be telling us, or ADC or APC. That's what it has to be. For now, I think it's defeatist to say, because of this, you are relying on session. For me, you go over there. Even the IPAC itself, if you look at the membership too, these big parties, are they really saying things that are they in tandem? Are they in cahoot in what they're saying? So for me, IPAC, if you are listening to me, if you are watching, I think what you need to do is that, find a way to raise your numbers, as you said, and put people in the National Assembly over there who can also work against some of these things if they don't agree with your policies and ideologies. That's the way I see it.
Now, these threats by IPAC, do you see the National Assembly likely to amend, the Electoral Act in response to IPAC's concern?
The threats.
I think it's also, I would like to know what the National Assembly will say. I don't want to even advise or misadvise them. But I think I would like to also throw some words at National Assembly members.
Okay.
And that's to say that there is absolutely no excuse why members of the National Assembly should not go through that document line by line, clause by clause. It's not so voluminous for them not to do it. And it sends that message to us that a good number of them probably did not take time to look at this. They are constitutionally, or not constitutionally, they officially have some legislative aides who can also help them to look at all this clause.
I give them summaries.
I give them summaries if they were so busy. You understand? So, but I have this feeling that a good number of them probably didn't look at all these clauses. Because what he said now is not just their own advantage.
We have someone calling in, Pastor Dari, calling in from Lokoja. Pastor Dari, let's talk.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
To the gentlemen in the studio.
Thank you.
I think the issue of Malame, I think, is an insult to our collective resolve. That a number one law enforcer in Nigeria will be found with such humongous amount to have been stolen allegedly. I mean, what kind of nation is this? That the minister, the wife, and the children? I'm an advocate of strong institutions rather than strong individuals. It's because we have strong individuals that's why we are having this let me call this nonsense happening in Nigeria.
Okay.
A law enforcer becoming a lawbreaker. It can only happen in Nigeria.
Right.
Now let me go to the issue of IPAC.
The thing is, hello, Pastor. He's still under investigation.
That's why it's allegedly.
Okay,
yeah.
Allegedly. Let's be careful in our utterances. Okay, it's very, very important.
It's not the best way at all. Good evening.
All right, good evening to you. Okay, he's still under investigation. Okay, let's be very, very careful.
And let the court do their work.
Let the court do
The case is before the court.
Exactly.
Yes,
All right, but gentlemen, I need you to land on your thoughts so that we
I think it
move.
was one talking.
No, you were trying to
So what
draw
was my
attention to what I
thought
said
then?
about IPAC.
Yes.
About
Okay, IPAC, yes. So for me, I want to leave National Assembly to look at the merits, if there are, about their threats. But as far as saying that they will boycott the election should not be in the conversation.
It should not be.
They are not NLC members. They are not TUC members. We're used to go on strike, and if you don't go, it will be one. Definitely some parties will still.
All right.
At least ABGA will still be there.
Okay then. All right, we need to go on this quick break, and when we return, we'll talk about ABGA right after this break. Right after this break, don't go away.